The Richard Lewis Esports Podcast. Taking you behind the scenes of the esports industry.
Hello and welcome to the Richard Lewis Esports Podcast. That's meant to be taking you behind the esports scene. Not really going to be doing a lot of that this week, as you'll find out in a moment. But just before we come to that, this being esports content, obviously makes sense that we have to go out there and get sponsors. This content doesn't pay for itself. My time doesn't pay for itself. So I'm absolutely ecstatic to say that I'm in partnership with Mad Cats, who are a company that make awesome gaming peripherals. I've had the pleasure to work with them a lot in the past. I know the staff over there. They make some great products. And the one that I really want to bring your attention to is one that they've recently released. It's the RAT Tournament Edition gaming mouse for PC and Mac. If you've never seen a RAT, the best way to describe it is if you crossed a mouse with a transformer. It's got like plates and it just shifts around. You can completely customize it so it fits your hand perfectly, which is ideal for prolonged gaming sessions. You can change the weight on it so you don't get as much inertia, issues like that. It can go up to 8,200 DPI, so it can be very precise, which makes it great for a range of games. And on top of that as well, it actually just looks really cool. It's a great mouse, and honestly, it's a talking point if you've got one on your desk. If you're the kind of guy who likes to, or girl, I should say, if you like to, have prolonged gaming sessions, you could definitely take a look at this product. I think it would interest you quite a bit. So you can Google that. It's at madcats.com. You'll be able to see it there. It's one of their most recent products. Anyway, on to the broadcast. Now, I have said that this isn't technically about esports, and it kind of isn't, but I, like you, I like to cruise around YouTube, and it's very rare I see anything interesting out there. I think streaming and YouTube videos are kind of a bit stagnant now. They're kind of a little bit boring, but I stumbled across these YouTube videos and I just laughed my ass off for like hours on end, like tears streaming down my face. I'm not even exaggerating. And it was the comedy stylings of the man I've got with me, the YouTube sensation, Charlie Winsmore. Charles, thank you so much for coming on, man. I am absolutely over the moon about this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah. I'm excited.
So, okay, well, let's start at the beginning. I mean, for those who haven't seen the videos, they need to Google Esteban Winsmore, who is a character of yours, one of your many kind of comedy characters that basically infiltrated, if you like, Second Life and ultimately would kind of poke fun at the people that was in there, but not in a mean-spirited way, I don't think. Just kind of holding a mirror up to some of the more absurdities in Second Life. So how did you come up with the idea of doing this, just full stop? Were you just sat around bored one day just thinking, I know what I'm going to do?
Well, it's actually a long story as to how I got into Second Life in particular.
Okay.
But I first got into doing it with my friend Jesse. He's in a lot of the videos. Mm-hmm. We used to play this game called The Sims Online, which is essentially an online port of The Sims. And we used to do stuff like this in The Sims Online. Like we used to crash weddings and like throw away wedding cakes and stuff like that. So that game died, and then we were looking for something to do just because we had loved doing that so much, and we found Second Life, and Second Life was immediately different, but it was almost more beautiful in a strange way. But yeah, that's how that got started.
Well, I mean, I just like, okay, so trolling, right? It's kind of what people call it, but it kind of feels like it isn't bad when you're doing it. Like, I've been griefed before when I've been playing games, and I've thought, these guys are fucking assholes, they've got no life whatsoever. But like, I watch your videos and I think, man, these guys deserve it. I don't know if that's me just being, hypocritical, but honestly, the people in Second Life, it's incredible. It blew my mind. I had no idea that people took it so seriously. So how long did you have to sort of play Second Life for? How long did you have to be involved with it before you got like a feel for, what the people and the community were like?
Well, I've played for, I think, 5 years now. I haven't, not like for a long time, but I still can say I have no idea what's going on in that game. I have no idea pretty much like how to control it. It's just a complete mystery to me still. But I think from day one, because Second Life, let's just say, was way more populated back then. There were a lot more people roaming the countryside. It was a beautiful day. But on day one, when we got into it, we noticed immediately that something was amiss. Like, I remember the first time I logged in, I bumped into a guy, and he just started screaming at me. And I'm like, okay, we found something beautiful here. We have to stick with this. Because it doesn't take much at all for a lot of these people.
No, I know. It seems that way, dude. Like, okay, so just to list some of the videos in case people listening haven't come across them. There's one in particular that strikes me as so tragic almost. No, seriously. And that's the guy who you tell him that he needs to discipline his daughter. And his daughter, right? And his daughter is a fake sprite. I'm right in saying it's not a real little girl that plays with him.
No, it's not.
It's like, it's almost like an asset that you acquire in the game as part of a successful Second Life. And you say in the Esteban Winsmore style that, he should discipline his daughter. And this guy goes off. I mean, this guy is threatening to beat you up and telling you to respect his house and how dare you talk to his child that way. And I was laughing for 5 minutes straight. And then I had this bolt out of the blue. This guy doesn't have a daughter. He's got a virtual daughter. And that struck me as incredibly sad.
Well, it is. It's really sad. That video, man. I just, for some reason, I knew that would set that guy off. You can tell immediately when I go into that house in that video. That guy is fully entrenched in this illusion. And that's one of the videos where I felt like a reasonable amount of guilt putting it up. Because it's clearly not the most happy scenario I just trotted into here and just blew up. But that's a lot of my videos. I kind of have to tread over this fantasy, which means absolutely nothing to me and my viewers, but to the people in it, it's very, very serious.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I guess that's kind of the thing that makes your videos so interesting, that, there is this almost like a morality play, kind of unfolding before it, where you as the character that you're in are mocking somebody that, as you say, is so invested in this Second Life. I understand how immersive it can be and how much time these people spend on stuff. But ultimately, it isn't real. And they have to understand that on some level, or don't they?
They understand it. I think because I've had, I'm behind the scenes, so I've had a chance to talk to people that have been in my videos that have reached out to me and stuff. And a lot of them they just go full force with the idea that what I did happened in reality, and that there's no play between reality and virtual reality here. Like, this was a real offense. And other people are more like forthcoming. They're like, this is what I do. This is what I have, and you kind of destroyed it. But there's both sides. There are people who are aware that the fantasy is a fantasy, but there are people that just won't let go of it.
Well, I mean, I guess that brings me to this question, which we were always going to get into at some point, and that is is it okay? I mean, I think it's great, right? I've already made it abundantly clear I enjoy your content. Yeah. But is it okay to go into something like Second Life and effectively disrupt people's fantasies and the way that they've elected to spend their time? Is it morally okay? Or, I mean, do you ever feel like you're crossing a line?
Absolutely. I've kind of been dealing with that since I started making these videos back maybe in 2010 when I had 100 subscribers and I was just doing it to show a couple of friends. It was fine. But now I have the power to effectively record someone and completely explode their virtual life. It's kind of bizarre the power I have in this game now. But I've been coping with that, and the thing is that's allowed me to keep going. Not that I'm necessarily like going strong right now, but the thing that's allowed me to keep going is the way I do it. I'm kind of halfway in and halfway out. I don't go in with the intention of necessarily clowning anybody. I just kind of play the situation and I improvise. But I'm more concerned about the repercussions, the way it's the viewer, the way the viewer reads it, because a large percentage of my viewer base will look at it and go like, "Oh, look at these freaks! I'm gonna go find them myself." And then another percentage kind of gets it, and they kind of enjoy the show. But I've had to do a lot of things just because of the guilt I felt. Like I've just gone out of my way now to hide identities like as much as possible. And I think there are a few videos where just the people in the video haven't been found. Like you can't track them down, and so it's something I've really tried to mitigate, because I kind of know the importance of what I'm doing. Like it's just I love it so much, and it's important to so many people. It's almost like it's almost like it's almost like sacrificing a goat. Like these people are gonna get hurt, but it's for the good of hundreds of thousands of people. I don't want to sound messed up, but it's tough sometimes to exactly get through with what I'm doing, especially when someone is so invested into it to the point where you can tell that that's their entire existence. It's completely invested in an avatar, and I'm destroying it.
So, I mean, there's kind of you make an interesting point there where you talk about the sort of greater good, and I'm interested to know what that greater good is, because I'm sure if someone was to be critical of you, they would say effectively what you do is you make a living at the expense of other people. You know, you earn money through your YouTube videos and your stream and the other things that you do, and while they're comedic, they're not comedic in the sense that you sit down and you write a sketch and you perform it out with your friends like Jesse or whatever. You actually interact with people that maybe aren't in on the joke. So what would you say is the greater good?
I'd say the greater good is comedy. Comedy hurts sometimes. You got like Sacha Baron Cohen. He does this in real life, and people's reputations are ruined. They can't get jobs, stuff like that. I'm doing it in a video game. And I still feel that, but I just think it's hilarious. That's the bottom line is that I get a lot of messages there like, your videos got me through X, your videos got me through my divorce, like weird stuff like that. I think there is a good to the bad. I'm completely aware of the bad, and that's probably one of the reasons I don't do it as much anymore. There are a lot of factors into why I can't do it that much anymore, but I have struggle with that. And you've seen, if you watch like the timeline of my videos, you see my approach shift for more of like an aggressive, aggressive trajectory into like, I'm just here to talk almost. I'm just having a conversation now.
What about the kind of problems that you faced as you started getting more popular? Because I think one of the great things about the videos, especially the early ones, were that everybody assumed, because nobody seems to realize in Second Life when someone is trolling, because everyone's so fucking strange anyway, that everyone took you at face value. So people really did think you were this kind of awkward fish out of water person. They didn't realize the butt of the joke was them.
Yeah.
So, was it harder to sort of get away with it as you blew up? Because, I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of people have seen your videos. And I imagine now if I was to Google Second Life, you would probably be one of the first things I'd find.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons it's so hard for me now. I think even on day one, when my video was it was Esteban episode 2. It blew up. It was the first video of mine that blew up. I had a lot of videos before that. Hit the front page of Reddit, and immediately, that permeates first through the Second Life world. So, and that's not a big world, we're talking about a player base of, I don't know, not too many people, most of whom are AFK.
Yeah.
So it's like, everybody knows me. And now it's gone on for 2 years and it's just gotten more popular and more popular. I 1 in 8 people that talks probably doesn't know me. I mean, and it's gotten to the point where I'll go to like a Spanish sim in Second Life, and guys that don't speak English are like, Esteban Winsmore, I will own this. It's like, what? How do you know this? You don't even speak English. But it's really gotten difficult. The first time it got really frustrating to me was when I realized that I never again will be able to return to a place twice.
Yeah.
Because I have about 5 videos before it got popular where I was just at the same places over and over again, because it was kind of like an episodic series where I would return every year and troll the same person. But that's just impossible now. So it's taken more guerrilla tactics to get the job done. Yeah, but it's difficult.
What about people who deserve it? I gotta say, I mean, there must be some people you take particular pleasure in trolling, because I watched the video. What about that guy? I mean, for starters, everyone in Second Life seems to have shit microphones. Like, really, like, what the fuck is going on? You would have thought for that particular game, having at least a decent mic might be something. But there's this guy who goes absolutely mental and starts shouting at you, saying he's going to beat you up and that he's going to fight you. I don't even know. Can you virtually beat someone up in Second Life? Is that possible?
You can move them a large distance, but most things they're like it's almost like you have to accept a request and then they can beat you up.
What? So you have to accept the request to be beaten up?
Yeah.
That's good. That makes sense. But this guy, I don't know if you remember the one. He's just shouting at you, like saying things like, "You want to mess with me, brah? You want to mess with me, brah? I'll mess with you, brah. I'll mess with you, brah." And he's just over and over again.
Yeah.
And you're really baiting and goading him. Now, I imagine when you get someone who's getting that agitated, that must be a good feeling in a way.
My feeling about that now, it's like I'm not even having fun anymore. I'm just like, this is gonna be so good when I edit it. Like, it's just I can't wait to see how the world is gonna love this. I'm just thinking about everybody's gonna watch it. I'm not even in the situation anymore, really. And that's the main view of my videos that have changed. Before I was just going in for fun and stuff. Now I'm like, this is gonna be enjoyed by a lot of people. So when someone's going crazy on me, I'm extremely ecstatic. I'm just happy inside. And I don't know. I really love those people now. Even though they hate me and they do their best to tear me down, I absolutely love them because they make me possible.
Do you ever come across anything that's like too weird for a video? Like something you literally can't put up on YouTube? Because I mean, I see stuff all the time that I just can't wrap my head around. Even in the videos that you use, like the furries, dude. I can't. I mean, look, I respect everyone's right to be weird. Absolutely. You do whatever you want, man, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. Cool, rock on. But I still think it's strange that a guy would, I don't know, want to dress up as a teddy bear and fuck another guy doing the same thing, or live out a virtual life where they're married to a horse and this crazy stuff. And I mean, if that's the stuff that makes it into the videos, there's got to be stuff that gets put on the cutting room floor that isn't suitable for public consumption, right?
Yeah, to some extent. People ask me this a lot. I don't think I've had too many moments like that. I remember walking in to I walked into a house once, and the wallpaper essentially was just pictures of real life penises. And I'm like, this is not going to work. We're going to have to censor this entire video if I put it up. But it's just,
whose house?
I'll put anything in a video. It's just the inconvenience of censoring everything that stops me from doing it.
I can't think of a context where having wallpaper that was just pictures of people's penises would be appropriate. Did he explain why?
No, he was just standing. He was AFK, I think. He was just marveling at his own wallpaper.
But what about? I mean, is there anything that has particularly weirded you out? Like maybe even made you break character and think this isn't worth it, man. This is just too weird now.
I've broken character once, and I think it's because this guy knew what I was up to. I was just trying to do my Esteban thing. I forgot what exactly the conversation was, but he kept trying to get me to lick his butthole. That's like, he just kept repeating that. And I'm like, I can't do anything with this guy, and I eventually broke down. Like, what am I supposed to do about this guy? But it's just stuff like that where people just take it to that next level. Because when people know my shtick, they just accelerate until I have to give it up. So it's just it's moments like that. Actually, there was I don't know if you've seen the videos. It was like Charles Firecaster's sexual education.
Yes.
That video took a long time to make, just because I had to keep going back to that sex lounge, and they were always talking about masturbation and shit, and I just couldn't work up the nerve to speak out for some reason. Like it was very jarring, the things those people were talking about.
Yeah.
So that was probably the most suck it up experience, no pun intended. I had to I had to really gather my courage to work through that room.
I can imagine. So we've talked a little bit about the bad. I mean, you know, the sort of trolling, and maybe some detractors might say, you know, oh, you're kind of engaged in some very low-level cyberbullying or some other nonsense, right?
Yeah.
But there was actually a lot that could be said that was good. I mean, when you did your interview with Vice said Esteban Winsmore has resuscitated Second Life through the art of trolling.
Yeah.
That's what they said. And certainly, I didn't even realize people still played that game. But after watching your videos, I did have the urge suddenly to, man, I got to get involved in this. I got to see these people for myself. And then thought better of it for obvious reasons. Probably it's because I wouldn't be as funny as you, or it would just be traumatic. So, I mean, do you think that you've helped give Second Life a shot in the arm? I mean, do you think you've contributed something of worth to that game and that community?
It's hard to say. If drawing attention on its own merit is, you know, valuable, which I'm sure it is, I've done that more than that game has had in a very long time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Linden Lab, the company that makes it, has yet to ever acknowledge me, yet acknowledging every other, you know, content creator that even has like a tenth of my views. But I do get a ton of people telling me that, you know, I inspired them to start playing Second Life again, which I don't know what to say to, but good job. But I think I'd like to say that I've helped that game in some way. It hasn't helped me in what I do, because it brings a lot of people trying to do what I do. But I love that game. I really genuinely want it to survive and live on. So I can only hope that I've done something good for it in the end.
So the interesting thing for you is that, you know, while it's beneficial for what you do to be clandestine, and to do all of your work kind of in secret without popularity, but the submission of your video to the front page of Reddit, the Reddit cringe subreddit it was in particular, that made you blow up. Is it kind of difficult straddling the knowledge that the only way you're going to get paid is by having traffic and attention, but equally the best videos are going to come when people don't know who you are and you're able to operate in secret? Yeah,
it's almost contradictory. It's impossible to keep going to a certain extent. But it's, I don't know. That's kind of why I've moved away from it a little bit. At least taken a break from certain characters and stuff. But it's difficult. There are ways I can do it, and I'm thinking of new methods of like kind of just changing the format of what I do, maybe like to a more structured kind of thing where I can like control the circumstances and settings in which I do my stuff. But it takes, just generally, it's increased the effort it takes to make a video just Like, it used to be so easy for me to put out a video maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Now maybe once a month if I'm really, really pushing for it. And the thing is, that's only going to increase if I keep going. And the thing is with me, I'm completely fine with not putting out a video for a long time, which I've proven in this year.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm completely fine with it. I value my quality like way over my quantity. I don't really care if I get more popular than I am, because this is way more popular than I should be.
Well, I mean, so you say that, but then I don't know, man. It's like, it feels like there's a real opportunity for you here to sort of make a good bit of money. I mean, I see a lot of people that I don't think have the same sort of entertainment factor doing a lot better for themselves, which I guess sort of brings me on to the next segment I wanted to talk about, just to put Second Life to bed for a moment, and indeed Esteban Winsmore. Yeah. The climate, as I see it, like YouTubers and streamers, there are so many people who are just fake, like, oh, I'm going to play a scary game and I'm going to scream and pretend I'm scared, or I am going to, open a box that has the potential to have something, of value inside, and then go mega OTT if I, win it. There seems to be a lot of really fake, contrived personalities. Yeah. And yet people on YouTube and people who watch streams seem to really eat this up. They seem to love it. And I don't understand that. I don't consider that very sophisticated. Yeah. So what do you think about that sort of current landscape?
It's kind of nauseating. And I think that's why, at least for me, I've valued the ability to not put up videos. Just like, if I die, this body of work is better than all of these dudes. Like it. And the thing is, YouTube is kind of structured to where minimal effort is celebrated with hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you can put out an average video every day, you're gonna make it to some extent. If you scream a lot, if you jingle some keys in front of the camera, like, you will make it. It's, I don't know, YouTube is less and less becoming a beacon for creativity. It's more of a way to entertain children coming home from school, and it's kind of, and the YouTube company itself kind of, they push for that. You never see a good channel in your suggested channels. It's all the top ones. They're just trying to kind of just inject fat into the pudgy overlords that already run the subscriber list. So I don't know.
There must be some YouTubers and streamers that you really dislike. Come on, Charles.
God, I don't know if I want to say names, but
would it be the career kiss of death if you were to name some of them?
I'm still trying to do stuff, so
there's got to be someone you can throw under the bus that can't hurt you. Come on.
Yeah, I think.
What if I was to reel off a list of names and then you answered them in Esteban Winsmore, right? Let's try that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly...
Voice?
Yeah, I think you could... That way you've got plausible deniability. No, you don't really need to do the voice. It's okay. But, okay, so what I'm doing is I'm Googling most annoying YouTubers. Right, the 10 most annoying YouTubers on top 10. I'll open up a few of these. I really struggle with Minecraft, actually. Or anything to do with it, but that's just me. So anyway, Fred? Don't even know. That's just the top one. Fred.
Yeah. That's that. Okay.
Who the fuck is Fred? Why do I know who he is?
Why you talking high voice like bitch talking normal voice? It sound the same. Motherfuck. All right.
Jonathan Jolie?
I have no idea who that is.
Okay. Total Biscuit is third on this list. And I'm friends with John. That sucks. He shouldn't be on there.
Wait, why is... I guess... I don't know. This isn't the annoying I was thinking of, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, me either. This is a terrible list in a lot of ways. Okay, let me try again. Let me find another list. I'm going to open another list. Okay, PewDiePie.
Okay. My friend, why didn't you stay in Sweden? You come to America, make terrible YouTube videos, pretty girlfriend. I mean, you're doing fine. Do not get me wrong. But please, you are ruining my internets. I wish to see you in constant despair for the rest of your life. Do not take offense to this, by the way. I hope that your computer burns up and takes your home with it. Do not take offense. I'm just speaking my mind. But I wish you the best of luck, my friend.
Okay, that's a good one. I think most people are agreed on PewDiePie. Everyone else on this list, man, they're fucking, I don't know, they're not super annoying. Video game Donkey?
I like Donkey, actually.
Yeah, same. As I mean, this sucks. These people.
I don't know who's compiling this list.
I know, this guy's an asshole. I actually hope his house does burn down.
Where's the Toby Games?
Right, so there we go, Toby Games.
All right. Hello, Toby Games. Why are you trying to make fame out of being schizophrenic? This is a serious condition. Can you please stop this? I'm very offended. If you could please play Happy Wheels in Hell Where You Belong, I would very much enjoy this. Thank you.
I think that's pretty good. I think we can leave that section
largely
there.
Offensive, but we'll just ignore that.
Fred Figglehorn. I feel like I'm learning stuff while doing this.
I think he was famous in like 2006.
All right. Still one of the highest paid YouTube partners, apparently.
Really?
Yeah. Who the fuck's Annoying Orange? Like, I feel like an entire life is just...
Oh, that's that.
Ask me.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Any thoughts on it?
Is it? I don't
it's
even know.
It's a Minecraft, right? Is it or?
It's a face superimposed on an orange that talks in a distorted voice. It's pretty great content.
Man, Stuart Lee and Richard Herring should sue this guy. They used to have a segment on. There was this show in the 90s called the Richard Not Judy Show. It was on BBC Two on a Sunday, and they used to have a section called Curious Orange. And it was the guy's face superimposed on an orange, and he would ask ridiculous questions.
Oh my god!
Serious? I don't know, man.
I thought YouTube was
that you think
for original content creators.
I know, man. I know this is bullshit. But I think there's a serious point in all of this, and you touched upon it pretty well actually when you said that YouTube is becoming. Less a sort of place for original, creativity and content creation. But yeah. I mean, how do you explain the popularity of people that, I don't know, you or I can look at and sort of deem that actually this stuff is, it's bereft of almost anything of any true merit. It doesn't meet the requirements to be art. It doesn't necessarily meet the requirements to be comedy. I guess that's more subjective. But yeah. How do you explain the popularity of some of these people?
I'd like to say it's just kids. Like it's largely just viewed by children, and but that's the only thing I can really offer. I think the YouTube hierarchy is being held in place, and there's not much growth that can be achieved for someone who doesn't make videos and make videos extremely fast. And it's very hard to make worthwhile videos extremely fast. So it's like a system that completely incentivizes making lackluster daily content, because I was growing a lot myself when I was making very, very fast content, and I don't know, and it's not the way to make art if you want to say that, or just anything worthwhile. You gotta sit down and you gotta chop away and you gotta form something, and I don't think any of these top YouTubers have ever done that at any point.
So again, I like to try and balance things out. So we've talked about the bad, and I guess it's only fair we sort of talk about the good. Which YouTubers inspire you? Which YouTubers do you admire? You've talked about how you like Video Game Donkey. It's no secret I'm a big fan of Total Biscuit's content. Is there anyone that makes you want to, maybe strive to do more, to be better, or is there anyone out there whose work you really admire?
I like Retsupure. They criticize YouTube like us. They're like the bodyguards. They take terrible Let's Plays and then they put them under the microscope and kind of clown on these guys who are starting off in the direction of a PewDiePie. I think Diabetes, who's in Retsupure, is probably one of the funniest guys. He's just so quick and witty. But other than them, I really don't watch too much YouTube anymore, to be honest. I don't know. I like Kraken because I know him and I know all those guys, and I think they're really funny. They have great chemistry together. It's hard. It's you got to pick through a lot of garbage to find anybody good.
So I mean, you've talked about how it's very hard to make money unless you're pumping out content. Regularly, frequently, almost oversaturation. Yeah. It must be tempting. I mean, you must sit around and think, I could do what those guys do. Probably is even a little bit better. I could put a video out every day. I mean, I'm tempted to do it sometimes. I've just changed jobs, and I think I could probably just make a bunch of videos and just goof off and be an asshole, and I'd probably do all right. Maybe not straight away, but, who knows, in a year. So, I mean, have you ever been tempted to kind of maybe sell out a little bit of those values and just pump out a load of videos that you're not overly happy with because it would augment your income?
Oh, absolutely. I'm probably going to do that soon. In fact, I'm actually, I'm trying to, I'm doing a lot of streaming now, so maybe you could already say that I've started down that path. But even then, I feel like I put a lot more thought into it than I should. But I think it's hard for me to say that I've gone down the path of selling out when I have a channel with 60,000 subscribers and 5 million views that's just sitting there, and I just refuse to touch it because I don't want to tamper with it. I think it's just, I don't know. I'm a writer in my first life, and writing is just a process that you just chop away at something for so long, and it's so hard to admit it's finally ready. And I've kind of brought that into my larger philosophy about creation. So it's just extremely hard for me to stop doing that. I can't bear putting out something that's horrible.
What do you think about Reddit? While we're on the subject of horrible things, I'm not a fan. It's kind of become the bane of my existence as a content creator, and it feels like in the space I'm in, especially with esports and gaming, it has a real inordinate amount of power. It can make or break a career. It can make or break an entire website, which maybe employs a dozen people. And I don't think that the Reddit staff have always wielded that responsibility particularly well. And I guess there's a counter argument to that to say, well, why the hell should they have to? What do you think about Reddit, given that a large part of your success is down to being discovered on the front page?
Absolutely. I wouldn't be popular without Reddit. But I think Reddit really varies subreddit to subreddit. There's some subreddits that are completely terrible. The League of Legends subreddit is the worst subreddit in the world. I've never seen a subreddit so bad, just the stuff that gets voted to the top. But I don't go to Reddit for anything other than I don't even really go to Reddit anymore, to be honest. So I think there are certain aspects of it that are cool, but then you get enough really stupid people congregating at one place, and they do wield the power that you're talking about, and they shouldn't. But I guess that's democracy.
Yeah,
you forget that everybody's stupid.
Yeah, the horror of democracy in action. But you got to elaborate on the League of Legends subreddit thing, because I've had my ups and downs with that particular sub as well. So I'm just mad intrigued when you say it's the single worst subreddit, and when you consider some of the subreddits that exist. That is an incredible claim, Charles. So,
I think if you go to the League of Legends subreddit right now, you'll find some stupid text post that's like, "We should really thank Doublelift for his unrivaled commitment to esports," and then it'll have like 3,000 upvotes. Like, what are you doing? These aren't even like, this isn't news. And it's like they'll just witch hunt for no reason. I don't know. The League of Legends fan base is stupid, and they have a subreddit worth their collective intelligence. I think that's all I gotta say. I don't care if I make them mad, because they're not my fan base.
Well, no, but you have been involved. I mean, you play League of Legends, right?
Yeah.
So how do you reconcile that? I mean, what is it you enjoy about the game? Despise about the community?
I just, it's fun to play with friends. I never play that game alone. Like, I just refuse to go into solo queue, because it just makes me so mad as an intelligent member of the planet to have to deal with some of these people. And I'm from the Counter-Strike community since I was a kid. Yeah. And that's a terrible community too. And I never thought in my life, because I went from Counter-Strike to StarCraft, which was great for the most part. I went into StarCraft and everybody was like mature and cool. You'd get an asshole occasionally, but then you go into League of Legends and it's just, the youth of this planet is terrible. We're just headed in a terrible direction. Just the things these people cry about, just everybody cannot take responsibility, and when you take responsibility yourself, they don't let go. It's by far the least mature community I've ever come in contact with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously Counter-Strike like yourself. That's where I cut my teeth. Yeah. I came to esports kind of late. I mean, my first community was fighting games, but I was at uni at the time, and I was too busy drinking and doing other cool stuff to really sort of knuckle down and go full geek, right? But then when I was 24 and 23, 24, and graduated, and I had the opportunity to write about online, competitive gaming and whatnot, which was starting to kind of blow up. I got really heavily into it, and the Counter-Strike community, I mean, I couldn't believe what I'd encountered. Like, seriously, it was like, it must have been like that epiphany moment, like you said, when that guy was screaming at you in Second Life, because I remember it vividly. My very first so the editor that I was pitching the article to for a magazine said to me, right, it's 2004, CSS is out, go write about it. That's going to be the next big online game. It's the replacement of 1.6, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I went onto a public server, literally just installed the game, went onto a public server, and I was like looking. I knew nothing about it. I've played FPS before, but mainly like GoldenEye on the N64 and shit like that, right? Not actual competitive PC FPS games. I buy a P90 because it's got 50 bullets, so it must be the best gun. More bullets, more kills, right? That's my logic.
Yeah.
And it was Office, and I went and crouched in one of the side halls, and every time I saw someone run past, I just killed him. Dink, 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 dink. And then loads of people would just type in, "You fucking camper," and I didn't know what the fuck that was, right? I was like, what the fuck? You camper, you asshole, die of cancer, blah, blah, blah. Like, I got, like, kicked off the server. Like, I'd only been on for, like, 5 minutes. I was like, wow, this is fun, right?
Yeah.
And it took me a while to sort of realize what the etiquette was and all the weird little rules and regulations. But even then, the Counter-Strike community was something incredibly awful to be a part of. Like, I loved a lot of the players that I got to know. But certainly the community at large was really brutal. And that was why I kind of walked away from it in the end. But, I mean, you're absolutely right. I think I agree. I've never quite experienced the levels of hate compared to League of Legends. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, I don't know. Is it just because they're a younger audience, do you think?
I have no idea. I think I think just the system itself, maybe, that solo queue is so heavily used, and you're just forced to you're forced to like scrap with 4 people that you don't have voice comms with. You can't even like begin to communicate really. It's and I don't know, I think it's hard. It's kind of like someone should do we should get some psychologists to start studying this game.
That was what my first podcast was with.
Insane.
Well, I did a sports psychologist. I should have asked him about it. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah.
Why is everyone crazy in League of Legends? Missed opportunity.
And it's weird because you watch like LCS, those guys seem kind of laid back. And I guess it's because they're so jaded to that the competitive nature of it. But I don't. I just could never. I would never will try and climb solo queue just because I know I'm too old for it now. I just give up on trying to deal with those kinds of people.
So what's your favorite game? I mean, what are you enjoying playing right now?
I've been a CS guy all my life, but I think my current group of friends play League of Legends a lot. I'm trying to get into CS:GO again. Like I'm gonna do a road to global elite thing every week on my stream.
It might take you a while.
No, man, I'm good. All right.
For real?
Yeah, I was. My last rank was a legendary Eagle Master, so I'm not that far away.
And how can you take those ranks seriously? By the way,
they're not.
I mean, legendary Eagle Master though. Like, can you? That's a troll in itself, right?
Yeah, my friend was talking about how he was gonna play on his college team. I guess there's a college league starting up for CS:GO. And the leader of his team was like, "You have to be at least Supreme Commander Global Assassin to join this team." Like, this is not Counter-Strike. What are you talking about?
Dude. Can I not just be good? How about that? Yeah. But so I mean, what else though? I mean, you must play some non-online games, or?
I honestly, on my stream, people really like when I play The Sims 3 for some reason. It's just. Yeah, they come back every week for that. So I play a lot of that.
It's like an acceptable Second Life. It's Second Life without the weird pony sex.
Yeah.
Which is
I think I just thrive in games where I can kind of like commentate on a narrative that's kind of forming. And,
what about EVE Online then?
Like
I mean, you must have taken a good long look at that. I mean, the scope for trolling in that game must be huge.
I have never seen that game before.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's like Elite, but just, bigger, better, more detailed. But you've never ever thought about giving that a go?
No, I should check it out though. I've heard some crazy things just about, I don't know, the economy and like massive battles.
Oh yeah, it's insane, some of the stuff that goes on there. There's a great story about the guy who basically he rose through the ranks of a corporation and then ripped it all off and basically stole something ridiculous like hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of in-game currency and ships and stuff. Yeah, it just seems to be like the most insane game of all time. But anyway, so we'll move away from gaming. I want to talk to you about sort of comedy writing. We're going to come back to Counter-Strike at the end.
Yeah.
But, you were asked about if you've ever thought about doing interviews in like real life, and you've already mentioned Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
You answered at the time. I actually tried something like that a year or two back at an MLG event, but the sound we recorded was all fucked, and it wouldn't have been that funny anyway. I'm sure I'd be much better at something like that now, but I'd have to iron out what the real shtick behind it would be, because without any mechanics to it, it'd just be me being super abrasive towards strangers. So are we any closer to you sort of entering into that? Because that's a realm, I think, we don't really have a lot of that in gaming. Not done well, anyway.
Yeah. I think if I had the opportunity, like someone gave me the shot to do that, I would definitely do it, but I'd have to think it out more, because I think just like with Borat and just with Esteban Winsmore, it's so much different through the siphon of a character. But when I did it at MLG, it was actually pretty funny. But I don't know. I just it's the gaming community has so many funny people just walking around at any given event that I think it's worth it. I think it does need to happen, if not with me, then with someone else.
I mean, would you like maybe like need a sponsor? Or what would make you want to do it? What would it sort of take to push you into that area?
I guess I just don't have the gear and stuff like that. Like I guess I would need a spot. I need someone to bring me out and like film me and stuff because I just don't have the necessary things to get that done. But if I were, because I'm not really, I don't have fear anymore. That's my thing. I'm definitely up to do that. I've seen so much now that I'm beyond the point of no return.
Yeah. So here's a question as well. I meant to ask earlier, but I forgot. Racism.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I don't know if it's anything you've ever thought about, but I imagine somebody must have accused you of creating a racist caricature.
Yeah.
In Esteban Winsmore, right? I mean, did anyone ever say that?
No one's ever said that, actually, which is surprising, because I've thought about it myself.
Right, okay. So I don't think it is, just to say right off the bat, so this might be a spurious discussion. But, was there a concern on your part that by, adopting certain affectations, such as a voice or anything like that you might be potentially portraying a negative racial stereotype?
I think the fact that he's so racially ambiguous almost works in the opposite way, because you kind of provoke racism out of the other party, and it's just so it becomes almost like a commentary on it, because it's like people are kind of being racist towards the shadow of a race. I guess I think maybe if Esteban had a more like identifiable form, or the voice was, I just don't think it really goes there. But I'm sure you could find some scholar out there that would disagree. But I've definitely thought about it, and I just hope no one ever really nails me down for that.
No, I think again, to bring Sacha Baron Cohen to the table, he went through all that with Ali G.
Yeah,
but I mean, like in the UK, that was all the papers wanted to write about at the time. What race was he? Is he racist against Asians? Is he racist against Jews? Is he racist against blacks? Is it comparable to blackface? There was pretty much an essay about it every week from some sort of liberal scholar that wanted to point out the evils of the character.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, as you say, 'cause it was ambiguous. There was never anything you could realistically say. There was no right answer. It was ultimately a reflection of you and your own prejudices and preconceptions.
I think if people are really investigating to find out what exactly you're making fun of, they don't really have a basis to label you. But I think Doo-Doo King was the worst, and that's why I stopped doing him. But rest in peace, Doo-Doo King. That was my worst character of all time.
Well, let's talk about some of the other characters, because obviously Esteban's been a big focus. I don't know if you want to bring up Doo-Doo King.
Doo-Doo King was a character that I made one afternoon when I was feeling very strange, and I made a video in about 5 hours, and I put it up just because it was so bad. And he's a guy who kind of has a fascination with poop, and he goes around telling people they smell like shit. And that was the whole shtick. It was the worst video of all time, yet it's in the 6 figures, and it will elude me for the rest of my life as to why people like that video.
So what about other characters? Perhaps someone with a bit more substance than King?
My other one is Charles Firecaster, who I'd say is the most like me. That's what people have told me, just because his first appearance, Charles Firecaster, was when it was he's more of the casual character. He's either extremely like erratic and yelling in response to very simple questions, or he's just hanging out. But I think both of my characters, actually, Esteban Winsmore and Charles Firecaster, have the tendency to be nice and then blow up at any slight disturbance in the area, and that's kind of what Charles Firecaster is. There's no exactly explaining what he is because he's so stupid, but yeah, I love him.
Are you?
But however, though,
go on.
He's way too loud for me to do where I live. I remember the first time I did a Charles Firecaster video, I heard people discussing what was going on in my room from the courtyard in my apartment complex, just because I was screaming at the top of my lungs. So he's a difficult one.
So this is where I get to tie it into esports.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I've worked in esports for a decade now, and this is an industry ripe for lampooning. It's got people who take themselves way too seriously. It's got idiots.
Yeah.
It's got everything. I mean, it's got probably a fair share of furries, and it's like Second Life in a lot of ways, but real. Okay? Now, I would love it if you were to maybe get involved just with some sort of esports character. Is that anything you've ever thought about?
I never thought about esports in particular. I've always loved esports, so I've wanted to kind of parlay what I'm doing right now into it, but I never knew how. But I've never thought about it in that regard.
I mean, I'm telling you, this is how you will make the millions. Honestly, I'm going to give you this idea for free. I can't do it. I'm terrible at stuff like that. I've tried. I've tried to do troll interviews and stuff. I just can't. I just can't keep a straight face. I don't know what it is. I can't. If someone's being stupid, it either makes me really, I like just laugh, or it makes me really angry. I only have sort of two gears. But I'm telling you that you could clean up in this industry. If just someone to sort of prod fun at how serious it is. 'Cause I think a lot of people, actually, people who even people who take esports seriously, kind of recognize that on the surface it is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I mean, as someone who's followed esports for a while, what's your kind of prevalent thoughts about the esports industry in inverted commas?
I do think the esports industry tries a bit hard to be just like sports, like professional sports, when it's clearly should be going like its own direction. And I don't know, like, I think there is a whole lot of guys that come in for the wrong reasons and then disappear because they can't fund their teams anymore, like stuff like that. But I do think there probably is an opportunity to clown some people.
Man, that's the character right there. Like the dodgy esports manager guy.
Yeah.
So you just approach top teams saying, I bet just make up some ridiculous story about how you made your millions. Like, I don't know, maybe you ran the most successful shop in Second Life. Yeah. Who knows? And then you just offer them ridiculous things and record it, because I know you'll get actual players that will bite. Like, it doesn't matter how many times the bubble bursts or how many times someone promises the world and doesn't deliver. It's almost like this greed factor will just kick in. Mm-hmm. That would be hilarious.
I also think there's a lot of players lacking charisma.
Oh, God. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, it might bite a lot on these kind of things, so they would be fun to interview. I interviewed... This is a really bad story, but I did this interview at MLG. Do you know Cruncher?
Yeah.
I interviewed him. The video's gone forever, but I kept asking him if he wanted to fist fight Idra, and he just got really uncomfortable. And I kept asking over and over again if he could beat Idra in a fight, and it was the most uncomfortable interview of all time. and I feel bad that video's gone just because it was the most cringeworthy thing I think I've ever done.
Oh, man.
But stuff like that might work.
You can't delete stuff like that. You've got an obligation to the people to put it there. God, I remember that sort of ridiculous rivalry as well, right? Wasn't it all just because like Cruncher had beaten him on ladder or something, and Idra was calling him like, you know, names and saying he hoped he died and that sort of thing?
Yeah, and then Cruncher beat him again and typed a smiley face.
Oh God!
And that's your esports beef right there. You gotta watch out; the guns are gonna come out, so you gotta be careful.
Maybe that's another one as well. The esports gangster, man. There's definitely these characters just write themselves. I'm telling you. I think this is a rich vein of comedic potential.
What would be good, actually, now that I think about it, is like the fake ESPN guy who doesn't understand esports, but asks questions about esports that make no sense.
Yeah, that would be quite good.
The guy from Professional Sports trying to make sense of like League of Legends in interviews.
Because I don't know if you watched any of those documentaries that they've done recently, like the HBO one.
No, I've seen some news stories that are pretty bad.
Yeah, it's just like, it blows my mind how reporters in mainstream news can get this so way off, and they always just seem to set this like tone where whether they mean it or not, that the subjects that they interview always just come off as losers. And like, you know, it's not really like that. There might be a little bit of truth in it, but you know, come on, like they're always like, and these people lock themselves away in their rooms for 12 hours a day playing video games. Do you consider them athletes? They do. And then they'll like go into an interview segment and you're like, oh my God, like, and you know as well that they've signed off on this before they've even seen what's going to get aired. Because obviously an organization, an esports star, is just happy to have some publicity, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, those documentaries make me cringe, man.
Yeah.
Really sucks.
I think it's hard to, no offense to Idra, but it's like hard to further the sport when CNN is calling up Idra for an interview. Like, it's not the most charismatic guy to get on an interview. Like, we gotta start fielding better cards, you know?
So, I mean, what's your favorite esport then? I'm guessing Counter-Strike, right?
Yeah, I play Counter-Strike the most just because I can still, come in and do some damage, but I think I follow League of Legends the most.
Oh, you watch LCS, do you?
Yeah.
So
my fantasy team's been tanking, though.
For real, like I'm amazed. So how do you reconcile that? What do you think of the job Riot have done with LCS?
It's cool. I don't know. Competitive League just is getting so boring. The metagame is just you just wait for something to happen patiently, I feel like we could get better commentators in the LCS. Like you have Artosis and Tasteless in StarCraft, and they just fill the dead time with so much personality. And League is all dead time now. And they're just trying to come up with things to say. I think LCS is cool. It's kind of a step forward, but then again, I do like the tournaments everywhere, more action happening, more worldwide involvement. I think LCS makes things boring to a certain extent, but at the same time, it's pretty admirable how they've stepped it up. So,
you ever thought about being a commentator?
Maybe in CS. I've actually thought about that a little bit because I don't know. I just feel like commentary sometimes there's like a lot of commentators who have great personalities, but I think a lot of people are just scared to go outside the game and fish for something humorous.
I got heavily criticized the other day. I mean, I've been back doing Counter-Strike commentary, as you know, because I kept delaying interviewing you because I didn't have a voice for 12 hours casting straight with no breaks. But and I've been trying to get back into it. I used to do it back in like 2006, and there was a game just the other day, and it was an absolute stomp. like 16-4, but I mean, it was like 10-0 at one point, and the other team were like typing GG, what's the next map, and just trolling and not playing anything. And I just started saying, like, this is an awful game. This game is so shit to watch. And I was like talking to the Twitch chat and like saying, who do you think's been the worst player? Right? And because what's the point in commentating on the game? And I got so much, like negative messages, like, wow, unprofessional commentator, like such bad manners. How can he say that the players are playing bad? Well, they are playing bad. They're getting their ass beat. Like, it's
a stupid criticism.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But I mean, I feel like you could really do something good with that, man. I think maybe we should do a cast together.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. I'll hold you to this, man. It's recorded. You can't get out of it, so I'll have to do it.
I still love me Counter-Strike, no matter how many years I've been departed from playing competitively. Well, it's still my passion.
What level did you play at then? When you did used to play?
I got to Cal Premier in 1.6.
Okay.
And I don't know. I would play at Southern California LANs a lot, and I didn't get too far into Go, but because I got into university, started focusing on other things like Second Life, of course.
Well, yeah.
Asking about my Second Life merits, and now we're talking. But Counter-Strike, I was all right.
So who's your favorite Counter-Strike player of all time?
I think Forrest is just indisputably like brilliant. Like, he's just, to stay on top for that long is insane. I liked what's 6 before he passed away. He was incredible. And Solo, that's cool. I love Solo. That guy was incredible.
Nice, man. I think there'll be a lot of people that are surprised that someone like yourself, had even known the names of players. I think there's this kind of idea that most, YouTubers and people who sort of go on to be involved in mainstream gaming never really pay attention to the esports side of things. So, I mean, definite opportunities for you to come back. I think the CSGO scene now is it's blowing up, man. I mean, all of my sources are telling me the rate of growth at the moment for CSGO is the same as Dota was last year.
Nice.
Just in terms of the number of people it's attracting on a daily basis. We've got $250,000 tournaments. Valve staff intimated that there may be an equivalent of the international for CSGO coming soon. So, and I think there's only really 2 casters at the moment, and that is my good friends Anders and Semler, the sort of the go-to casters. I mean, obviously you have got other ones, and there's the old greats like Tosspot and Red Eye and guys like that. But they pretty much seem to cast every game. But I think they're going to get tired at this rate, and there's room for other guys. So maybe this is the way back to your first love, brother. I think
this is fate.
Yeah, I believe
it brought us here today.
So look, I want to start winding down. So I just want to ask about plans for the future. What have you really got lined up? I mean, obviously you said you're going to maybe start making more frequent videos, which wouldn't be difficult after the hiatus. So what have you got in the pipeline?
I'm trying new stuff right now. Just last week I logged into Second Life for the first time in a long time, and I'm starting that again. It's never ever going to be as frequent or as maybe even as good as it used to be. But then again, I hold my stuff to a high standard, so I think I will make more of that in a long time. But I'm streaming every day right now at Charlie Winsmore Twitch TV, and that's it for me. I'm working at it, chopping away.
Well, it's been great to talk to you. Honestly, I've been wanting to do it for so long. From the moment that I saw your first Esteban Winsmore video, and I was a late bloomer on that as well. I definitely came late to the party, but I still laughed my ass off anyway. If you had to recommend one video to anyone that's listening to the podcast, what would it be?
This is a tough one. I would recommend Propose to You. It's an Indian guy standing on top of a mountain talking about how much he loves a woman. But that's pretty much it. It's my favorite content on YouTube.
Okay, well, I'm sure people will check it out. I might even put some links in the bottom of it. But look, honestly, it's been a blast talking to you. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. You're an intelligent and funny man. We need more people like you, and I'm looking forward. We're going to make this Counter-Strike thing happen. We're going to do it 100%.
Let's do it.
It's the one thing I've got left on my bucket list, my esports bucket list. So look, have a great evening. To everybody out there who was listening to the podcast, that was the great Charles Winsmore. Seriously, check him out. He's absolutely awesome. And I know it was only tangentially linked to esports, but for guests of that caliber, what are you going to do? So we'll be back next week with another awesome guest. Perhaps not as funny. Who knows which direction it will go in. But in the meantime, if you want to support this broadcast, you know what you have to do. That's you want to give a shout out to Mad Cats. Go over to their website and check out their products. In particular, the Rat Tournament Edition mouse. I'm telling you, it's not just hype. It's a mouse that's really going to help you out. You've ever had any pains in your hands? Get a bit of aches when you've been playing for long periods of time, when you're trying to troll people in Second Life for a long period of time. This is the mouse that is really going to help make you have double the trolling and double the fun. So definitely go over to madcats.com and check it out. Anyway, until then, we'll be back next week. Thanks a lot for listening.
The Richard Lewis Esports Podcast. Taking you behind the scenes of the esports industry.